I've been fixing cars longer than some engines you see on the road have been alive. When someone tells me my car drives fine on flat roads but loses power going uphill, I already have a short list in my head. Here's the key thing you need to understand first. Going uphill puts real load on the engine. Flat road cruising is easy work. Climbing a hill is when the engine has to prove it's healthy. If something is weak, clogged, or lying to the engine computer, the hill will expose it every time. So let's walk through this calmly, step by step, in plain language. It's the Car Problems YouTube channel. Subscribe, and let's get started. Why hills reveal problems that flats don't. On a flat road, your engine doesn't need much fuel, air, or spark to keep you moving. Gravity isn't fighting you. The transmission doesn't need to downshift aggressively. Everything is relaxed. But uphill? Different story. The engine needs more air, more fuel, and perfect timing. The transmission has to work harder. Sensors have to give accurate information. If anything can't keep up, the car feels like it's choking, hesitating, or just plain tired. That's why the car feels fine on flat roads, but suddenly weak on hills. Fuel problems, the most common culprit. If I had to bet my lunch money, I'd start with fuel delivery. When you go uphill, the engine asks for more fuel. If it doesn't get it, power drops. Simple as that. A clogged fuel filter is a classic. On flat roads, enough fuel sneaks through. On hills, demand increases, but the filter can't supply it. The engine starves, and you feel it. A weak fuel pump does the same thing. It might still work, just not well enough under load. Think of it like a tired heart trying to run uphill. It just can't keep up. Bad fuel can also play a role. Old gas or contaminated fuel burns poorly, especially when the engine is under stress. Engines are basically big air pumps. If they can't breathe, they can't make power. A dirty air filter may sound too simple, but I've seen it hundreds of times. On flat roads, it's good enough. On hills, it's not. Then there's the mass airflow sensor, often called the MAF. This little sensor tells the engine how much air is coming in. If it's dirty or failing, the engine computer guesses wrong. When that happens under load, power drops fast. Vacuum leaks can cause similar trouble. Extra air sneaks in where it shouldn't, confusing the engine. Under load, that confusion becomes hesitation or power loss. Here's something newbies often don't think about. Engines need to get rid of exhaust just as much as they need fresh air. A clogged catalytic converter is a big one. On flat roads, exhaust trickles through. Uphill, exhaust volume increases, and suddenly it can't escape fast enough. The engine feels strangled. I've had cars come in where the owner swore the transmission was dying. Turned out the exhaust was plugged solid. Spark plugs, coils, and wires don't always fail completely. They often fail under load. A worn spark plug might fire fine cruising on flat roads. Put it under pressure going uphill, and it starts misfiring. The engine stumbles, loses power, and feels rough. Same goes for weak ignition coils. They may work most of the time, but hills expose their weakness. If you ever feel shaking, hesitation, or flashing check engine light uphill, ignition is high on my list. Transmission behavior can fool you. Sometimes the engine is fine, but the transmission isn't helping. If the transmission doesn't downshift when climbing, the engine ends up lugging at low RPM. That feels like power loss, even though the engine itself is okay. Low or dirty transmission fluid can cause this. So can internal wear. I've seen plenty of engine problems that turned out to be a transmission that refused to do its job. Sensors and computers aren't magic. Modern cars rely on sensors to make decisions. If one lies, the engine obeys bad information. Throttle position sensors, oxygen sensors, and engine load calculations all matter more uphill. A faulty sensor may not throw a code right away, but it can still rob power when demand increases. That's why a proper scan, not just guessing, saves time and money. What I'd check first if this were my car. If you rolled into my shop, I'd start simple. I'd look at fuel pressure, air filter condition, and scan live sensor data under load. I'd check for misfires and look at exhaust flow. I wouldn't throw parts at it blindly. Cars talk. You just have to listen the right way. Don't ignore this problem. A car that loses power uphill is telling you something isn't right. Keep driving it like that, and you risk damaging more expensive parts later. Start with the basics. Fuel, air, spark. Fix what's weak, not what's trendy to replace. And remember, hills don't create problems. They just expose them. If your car can't climb, it's not lazy. It's asking for help.